third of the way through the year and I've racked up 924 miles or 1,487 kilometers. Within this time I've used 12 different pairs of running shoes, so today I wanted to break these down and show you my most used shoes of 2025 so far. At the end I'll discuss which ones my favourites are, and I will just mention I've got definitely one, if not potentially two pairs of shoes coming in for testing by the end of this week, maybe into next week. So things will be changing after this, so let's get a wrap on this first third of the year and go through the details. I'll do this list in order of distance covered rather than number of runs. So starting at the bottom in 12th place, the Nike Streak Fly 2. Unfortunate really to be down there because it's only just come in to the rotation. It's got a couple of runs in it. The first one being a mile time trial and then some shorter, sharper intervals after that. And then the second run was basically a split test workout between the Adios 9 and the Streak Fly 2. Absolutely loving this shoe so far. Give it a few more weeks and it would have bumped up the list pretty high. Definitely aiming to try and race in this shoe at some point soon, just to give you guys a bit more feedback on it. But so far, this one has been a little gem added in to the rotation. Plenty more to come from that one. Number 9 was just one run in the Nike Next Percent version 2. It was a warm-up, a 5k time trial and a cool down. That was back at the start of this 5k training block. I wanted a super shoe that wasn't my favourite super shoe at the moment, just to go out there and rip a time trial out on my industrial estate. I've got a bit of a thing with every now and again going out there and doing a little 5k time trial on the same route just so that I can measure progress, and it was a good one. I ended up running 16:12 out there, which was great, and of course always good fun to use a Next Percent version 2. Hard to come by now unless you want to pay over the odds, but still a really good shoe. Not quite as good as version 1 though. The Brooks Hyperion 2 comes in 10th place, 11.27 miles, just a one run again, but it was a long run workout in my build up to the Alicante half marathon earlier this year. This was coming to the end of its usage. I got it just over the 100-mile mark, but then at that time I had another shoe that came in that I wanted to replace that with to get some more speed work done in. That shoe ended up being the Adios 9, and of course I've been loving that. You'll see more of that shoe later in this video. The Hyperion 2 though was a great update from the previous version. Really enjoyed it, stacked a lot of miles in it towards the end of last year, and as I said, just one run crept into this year, making it 10th spot. The Brooks Glycerin 22 comes in 9th place, 2 runs in that one, around 18 miles. Did the usual easy and moderate run testing in that shoe. Really enjoyed it, to be fair. Very comfortable, very cushioned. A little bit on the heavier side. I do tend to prefer a slightly lighter weight shoe, even for those easier days and recovery runs, and we'll get to the one that I've been preferring shortly because that has rocketed up in mileage. But overall, I've got to say, impressed with this one from Brooks. Had never been in a Glycerin before. As I said, slightly on the heavier side. It would have been lovely to have brought that down 10 or 20 grams or so, just so it was a little bit lighter, because it definitely was on that heavier end of the spectrum. But otherwise, decent enough. In 8th place is a Mizuno Neo Vista, 30 plus miles-ish, I think. 3 runs in that shoe. We're starting to creep up. I got this shoe towards the back end of last year. There was a lot of hype around this shoe. A lot of people got sent the shoe, tested it. I picked it up towards the end of the year after the hype had died down. I thought, okay, I've seen a lot about this shoe. Let's test out and see what it's made of. Definitely an interesting shoe. Something that I did end up finding worked relatively well for those cruisy, steady miles. Didn't find it had too much range to the shoe. Didn't feel like I could use it on those easy daily plods or really on those top end workouts. It was definitely something that it was just a one trick pony, but to be fair, it did that job pretty well. Very comfortable. Again, I got it to around 90-ish miles overall before it got replaced in my rotation, so that one still sat there. And in 7th place comes the Adidas Adios 9. This is my current speed day shoe, an absolute favourite. This is what replaced the Brooks Hyperion 2. Interestingly, 7 runs in it, but it's got less miles than the 2 shoes above it, but that's because I'm using it more for the shorter distance work at the moment, where I'm currently training for a 5k. I'm finding it to be really good for those top end speed interval workouts. Really great shoe. Out of all the shoes in that category where we're talking about slightly lower stack, it definitely comes top of the list for me. The more I'm using it, the more I'm finding it to be super enjoyable. Of course, I've recently got the Streak Fly in, which is a completely different beast because that's a plated shoe and the Adios 9 is non-plated. So for those workouts where I'm looking to just rip some fast reps without any plates or rods or anything like that, this is the one I'm gravitating towards. That Light Strike Pro foam is absolutely fantastic. 6th place is the Nike Alpha Fly 3. It's only got 5 runs in it, but it does have 59 miles, so higher mileage than the Adios 3. Again, this shoe has been used for those longer workouts. It was used a little bit more so back when I was doing my half marathon training. I think I've used it once during this 5k training block for something I can't remember, maybe back in the first couple of weeks, but otherwise it was definitely used more so to protect the legs and help on those longer workouts that I was doing that were taking like 13, 14, 15, 16 miles. miles, it really was a good shoe. It's definitely a shoe I will not be racing in. There are plenty of better options that I have for racing than the Alphafly 3. As I've said before in previous videos, having spent my money on it, I want to get the best use out of it, so I'm going to be continuing to drop that in throughout the year and rack up the miles. And coming in 5th place, the Saucony Endorphin Elite, another older racing shoe. This actually in total now has over 200 miles in it, but in this year I've logged another 59 miles. So the Alphafly 3 and this were very close, less than a mile in it. And again, exactly the same reason for me using this shoe as per the Alphafly. I do actually prefer the Saucony Endorphin Elite. I have just done a 200 mile update video on this. I will be honest with you, the last couple of runs I've done in it post 200 miles, it really is starting to go flat. I'm not sure how much more I can squeeze out of it. I guess I'll let you guys know. Maybe on here, maybe on the extra channel when I decide to completely stop retiring it. But the last workout I did in it, it really did feel flat, and I was really noticing the plate quite a lot underfoot. So I've got to be a little bit careful with that one, but it's been serving a purpose. And once again, with it being a super shoe, it's something that I want to try and squeeze as much life out of as possible. In 4th place, the Puma Deviate Nitro Elite 3, 93 miles and a fair few runs in it, pretty much all races. A couple of workouts back in the early days when I was doing testing in it, but pretty much this has been made up of the warm-ups, races and cool-downs if I ever end up doing them. Absolutely fantastic, highly recommended. Of course, we now see the Puma Fast R Nitro Elite 3. That one has taken Boston and London Marathon by storm. I did try and get a pair of those. There's a lot of hype around that shoe. Let's let the hype settle and let's see what happens. I'll try and grab a pair on the next drop, although I have just ordered myself another super shoe, so it might have to wait a little bit longer. However, I've been very impressed with the Puma Deviate Nitro Elite 3. It's still got plenty of life left in it. Again, like the other super shoes, will be taking this one to the point where I can't run in it anymore, and I'm still planning on using this shoe for racing over the coming months, although it might be mixed in with what's coming in soon for testing. 3rd place, the On Cloud Surfer 2, surprise package of the year for me. I have tested plenty of On running shoes over the years, been very kindly gifted them, and a lot of times they're very good, I enjoy them, but I've only got 1 or maybe 2 shoes up over. No, in fact, I think it's only 1 shoe up and over the 100 mile mark, and that was the On Cloudboom Echo 3, their super shoe. I really enjoyed that. The other shoes have been great. I've weaved them into my rotation. Some have got more miles than others, but honestly, I can't think of any that have ever really got over 50, 60 miles. I've got to say though, this On Cloud Surfer 2 has really impressed me. 106 miles in this so far, a fair few runs. This has been mixing it up with the other shoe that we're about to talk about in terms of taking some of my easy runs over these recent months, and I've been really enjoying this one. As I said, a surprise package. Very impressed with this one. The Asics Nova Blast 5, 2nd place, 28 runs I think it was, over 200 miles. Of course, in total with this shoe, because I started using it last year, over 300, and that one is now retired. Gutted with this shoe. It started off very promising, really happy with it. Absolutely loved it, thought it could rival version 1 for the best version. I really honestly love this shoe. The foam, however, had other ideas, and it really did start to die off around about the 150 mile mark, and by the time I got to 200 miles it very much felt compressed, a bit rubbery, a bit dead. It didn't have a lot of life in it. It still offered the cushioning and the softness, but it lost that bounce back. I persevered on until 300 miles pushed on. I just thought to myself at that point I could keep going, but this shoe is now so dead, it's unbelievable. It's not enjoyable whatsoever. Just leave it there. I've always prided myself on taking the Nova Blast because they've been one of my favorite lines of shoes, up to as many miles as possible. Version 1 400, version 2 500, version 3 300. The version 4 was the only one I took to 100 and stopped because I did not like that version, and then version 5 300, and it is over and out for that shoe. But coming in 1st place, I'm sure you guessed it, the Adidas Evo SL, 264 miles now so far. We are rocketing to 300. I actually said in my 200 mile update video that it might take me a while to get to 300. It looks like it might even be next week. Again, I am just loving this shoe. 30 runs in it so far, and these have all happened this year when I picked it up back in March. Honestly, this is my current go-to favorite shoe. It is going to be shoe of the year. I really can't see anything coming above this. I'd love to see what happens later in the year, but honestly, I have not yet found another shoe since I've been religiously using the Adios Pro 3 last year in my marathon training block that I've literally looked at and gone, I don't want to run in anything else other than this. With the On Cloud Surfer 2, as I mentioned, that was a shoe that I was sharing some of the mileage with this. and it is nice to change it up, and I haven't been enjoying the Surfer 2, and as I said, really impressed with it, but I do struggle to kind of pull myself away from using the Evo SL. It's just comfortable, it's that Light Strike Pro foam, it's a good stack of it, it hasn't got any rods or anything in it, it is just absolutely superb for those daily training miles. So that's the list in terms of most used, number of runs, and what I have used this year, logging the miles in them. That list is fantastic, very grateful to be testing a lot of those shoes. A handful of them have been sent to me, the majority of them I've purchased with my own money, and as standout shoes in that list, honestly, I think you guys know I'm going to say the Adidas Evo SL. You've seen the videos I've done on it. There'll be a 300 mile update video either next week or the week after. I'm sure there will be. I'm excited to deliver that. I'm feeling a few little changes in it, but overall we're still going strong. The Adidas Adios 9, that is brilliant. Very, very much enjoying that shoe. Adidas, for me at the moment, are really producing some great shoes. The Nike Streak Fly 2, cannot wait to race in it now. I think I'm going to commit myself to racing in it at some point soon, and I can't wait to get some more training miles in it. And then, as I said, the On Cloud Surfer 2, there's not many daily trainers that I can think of that I would use for my easy runs over the last couple of years, other than the Nova Blast, that I've really gone, do you know what, I actually quite enjoy running my easy runs in these, because obviously for me, if I'm honest, they're my least favourite runs to do, and so I tend to just chuck on whatever shoe. But the On Cloud Surfer 2 has been a joy. Very, very much enjoyed that one too. Those are my 4 standouts in that list. And as I mentioned in the intro, definitely one shoe coming in for testing hopefully later this week. That's going to be a racing shoe. I'm not going to give that away. Very excited to test that. I've already purchased it with my own money, so that's on its way. I've also entered the ballot stupidly for the Adidas Boston 13. I've never tried a Boston, and you know, every single year you guys drop in the comment, Andy, you've got to try the Boston. Some of you say you don't need to because you have this shoe and this shoe does this job better, but overall the hype around the Boston is usually quite big, and I know a lot of you guys always said to me, a lot of you said last year, you really missed out on the Boston 12. I believe the 13 is a little bit lighter, so we'll see. I'm excited. If I do get that, it'll be a draw on Wednesday, I think. I hate these draws, and I can't believe I've been sucked into another one, but I put my card details in, so if I get selected, then of course that will take the payment out of my bank account, and then they'll send me some from Adidas. So again, that'll be purchased with my own money, and we'll see what happens with those. So we've got definitely one coming, hopefully maybe 2. And as always, I love to throw it out to you guys at this stage in the video. Please drop some comments below with your most used shoes this year. Which have been your favourites? Are you sharing the love of the Evo SL like me, or can you not stand it? I know there's a few of you out there that are not fans of that shoe, and if so, what have been your favourite shoes? And of course, I'd love to know, out of the 2025 racing shoes you've tested, which ones have been yours. I know the Deviate Nitro Elite 3 is a 2024 version, but I'm excited to test this new one coming in, and I'd love to hear which one has been your favourite over the last few months. Do drop a comment down below. It'd be great to hear from you down there. And speaking of shoes, I'll leave a link to a video up here for the Evo SL after 200 miles in case you did miss that update. That's a good one for durability and checking out how they're getting on. I dropped a little note in there about how they compare and stack up against the Adios Pro 3. And if you're interested in seeing a bit more info about the Streak Fly 2 on the limited testing I've done, check out this video down here. We'll do a mile time trial and some intervals, and I'll see you guys over on one of those.